It's Dex Level, and you're tuned in to Rolling Out.
Hey, Rolling Out family. Welcome to Rolling Out Music. I'm your host, Eddie Precise Lamar. Today, we're sitting down with Chicago born producer and musician Dex Level, known for blending hip hop, R&B, jazz, pop, and gospel with a sound rooted in live instrumentation. Dex Level has been shaping his craft since childhood at the legendary Chicago Recording Company. His journey has led him back to working with icons like Kanye West, Jeremiah, Chance the Rapper, and G Herbo, bringing unmatched skill, soul, and versatility to every track. Let's get into it. Dex, what's going on, brother?
And it's good to be on, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Brother, it's been such a pleasure just listening to your work. If the people don't know, you're featured on Chance's new album, Starline. Brother, what was it like just working on that project in itself?
Working on that project, it was years in the making. It started with, Chance and I just kind of coming together and, having a conversation and figuring out, where he wanted to go artistically and creatively for his next project and just started building, song by song from there.
Rolling Out, we're all about celebrating culture shapers and innovators. When you think about your own journey as a producer, what do you want people to understand first about who Dex Level is and what you bring to the music?
I want people just to understand, what I kind of bring as a producer, working with the artist to just kind of take their artistic vision to a level where they feel like they want to go next, or, something that they haven't necessarily done before, or just maybe continue on to, along with some of their other great music, adding along to it. So a lot of it is just me, helping them see their vision, from start to finish and kind of, doing it in a way where it's, pretty smooth for the artist. You know what I'm saying?
So I know I kind of jumped in, but take us back to the beginning. What first pulled you into production, and what made you realize this was the lane you were going to be in?
Back when I was a kid, just riding around, my dad used to have, CD cases and stuff, the big CD booklets where you keep all the different records that you like. Over time, I would start taking out the booklets, looking through the credits and kind of seeing like which role is doing what. And through more research, a lot of my favorite beats and stuff, I started understanding what producers would do. And that kind of led me, to want to do it on my own too.
What was your first official placement? And do you remember the moment you found out it was happening? How did that feel for you?
Yeah, man. My first official placement, a song called Handsome by Chance the Rapper, featuring
Okay.
Megan Thee Stallion. It was on his project, The Big Day. And I remember
Hmm.
finding out about it. One of the collaborators I work with, Smoko Ono, he's another great producer from Chicago. He just shot me a text like, yo, this joint we just did, is gonna make the album. So I was so happy and like super excited. It was the first, like you said, the first one. So yeah, that definitely
Okay.
was pretty crazy.
Your first placement is with Chance and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, right. Well, like, super grateful, man. Like something I definitely didn't expect, but I was so happy it happened, and I was happy that a lot of people were like liking the record and everything too. So
What do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself a producer or do you consider yourself a beat maker?
I consider myself a producer. So like making beats is pretty smooth and easy, but I really value my skill set the most, and where you can get the most out of me is as a producer. Someone that can not just help create the instrumentation of the song, but help the artists actually bring it to life, whether it's producing them with their voice or producing them sitting side by side, working through the arrangement of the song and all of that stuff too, and maybe finding other collaborators we need to bring in to make the song fully come to life.
I love that you mentioned because we know
Yeah,
collaboration is key in the production process.
yeah, yeah.
How do you balance your sound with an artist's vision to make something that clicks?
To be honest, like I go with the flow with the artist a lot, like in terms of like not just the direction, but in terms of the actual collaborations of the song. Like I'm often the one that's either trying to introduce more collaborators on the production side, on the writing side, on live instrumentation for musicians and stuff like that as well. Like just to see if the song could be greater, that way too. And I always welcome it too if the artist is, they have people in mind too as well they want to collaborate with on the song or on the project. I'm always open to it because I just feel like, bouncing ideas off each other and working with other people in general, it often, brings new things that you wouldn't have thought of, or maybe take you down a direction that, you may have not been as comfortable to go on your own. The artist is included. So
And I like that you mentioned the live instrumentation. So I want to kind of
yeah,
jump the tech space real fast. What plugin or piece of gear could you absolutely not live without in your setup?
that's a tough one. I really don't. I try not to get too solo and dependent on one plug-in versus a piece of gear. But I mean, we're living in 2025. I'll probably say my computer. Just
Okay.
for like most guys, whether you need to record the actual instruments in the room or something, I feel like I would need my computer out of everything.
You know what? I see you holding the sauce, man. I see you don't want to give away the sauce,
No.
brother.
A plugin that I use very often in my workflow for production, especially, is I would say Machine. They
Okay.
have, a good standalone program for drums that I like to use. That would be the plugin I would choose.
What would you say is one lesson you've learned about the music industry since your first placement that you wish you knew earlier?
At the time, knowing more about like PROs and all the different like sound exchange and all the different like ways that you get your song, published and everything, and then get your rights and all of that stuff too. Those are, valuable lessons that you learn, over time. But had I known that information at the start, a lot of that stuff could have been already set up and stuff like that. And it still ended up working out either way once I did get it set up. But that's what I would choose. Just knowing more
And, and,
information about that. Yeah.
and just for the public, the PROs are the performance rights organizations,
Yeah,
right?
BMI, ASCAP, sound exchanges as well. But yeah,
You got to know how you're getting that money. That is so key. I think what happens a lot of
yeah,
times is artists get so excited about being an artist that they forget that there are other moving pieces to this. So that's very important.
yeah, definitely.
So I got a big question for you right now.
Yeah, man.
If you had an opportunity to kind of list your Mount Rushmore of producers, we do this for rappers all the time, right? But who would be your Mount Rushmore of producers? And it doesn't have to be in just rap alone, it could be across genres.
If I only could pick four Mount Rushmore, I would say Quincy Jones, a huge legend to me. I would say more in the hip hop space, Kanye West, you know what I'm saying? Definitely a huge influence. Another producer, I would say also in that same hip hop space, No ID, hella, a lot of influence on me as a producer. And then to branch out a little bit, I might go, this is tough because I have so many other guys I would want to say too. But I would say maybe Teddy Riley. I'll say Teddy Riley. Yeah, just to branch out from the hip hop genre a little bit. But yeah,
That's solid. I don't think you went wrong at
yeah,
all. And
yeah. No,
that's
yeah,
that first
man.
one. I put that in the world. We're gonna see what people got to say about that one because that's a solid list.
Yeah, man. I like a lot of legendary older producers that shape, the generations. You know what I'm saying? So
Indeed, indeed. And
yeah,
it's dope that you put No ID in there because I don't know if people recognize how truly versatile he is. He got a lot of babies out here. People who follow his style and everything. So that's a dope list right there. I know you're gonna be on somebody's Mount Rushmore soon, right? If you
oh
aren't
man,
already.
yeah, yeah. No,
So
I
when
will.
when
No, I love that, man. Whenever.
for sure. So when listeners hear Dex Level Production, what do you want them to instantly feel or recognize?
I'll probably say like solo, like for like a lot of my production placements, kind of what I like to make in general. I always try to make sure it's like a soulful element in there somewhere, whether it's a sample or a bass line or the way the drums feel. But I try to make it, feel nostalgic to, something that you've were familiar with growing up at a certain point in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, indeed. So, Dex, where can the people find you?
Instagram, I'm on X and TikTok. My ad is at DEXLVL, DEXLVL. So yeah, you can find me on there and feel free to hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
So, final words for the young man who's currently going through his dad's MP3 collections because they don't have no more
Yeah.
they don't have no more CD.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah,
So for that young man who's going through his dad's, collection of music and everything,
yeah.
or the young lady, what advice do you have for them if they're looking to get into music as a producer?
Keep studying and learn as much and listen to as much music as possible. Like even if you don't know how to play instruments, so like a lot of good producers have good ears. So I would just say train your ears as much as you can, listen to as much as you can, even outside of the genres that you naturally like, try to find your way from there of how you want to become a producer, whether it's, getting a beat machine or a computer or an instrument.
Those are sound words. Dex, brother, thank you so much for joining us here on Rolling Out Music.
Rolling out, man. Eddie, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
The stories, the craft, and the energy that you bring are exactly what is pushing the culture forward. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
man.
Rolling Out family. Make sure you tap in with Dex. Hear some amazing music. He got about 11 tracks on this new Chance album. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. This is your man, Eddie Precise Lamar. And as I always say, stay focused, positive, and productive. Peace.